a spacecraft will come down and we'll walk on board that craft, and they'll take these bodies from us and issue us the ones that belong to that level so that we might begin service.
Do you think it's coincidence that last month they cloned a sheep and last week 39 members of an apocalyptic cult engaged in a mass suicide?
No.
You don't think it's coincidence?
No.
So you think that it was meant to be?
No, I don't think.
Do you think they're connected?
No.
You said you didn't think it was a coincidence. You mean you thought it was a coincidence, you just got confused?
Yeah.
The brothers gonna work it out. 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 The brothers gonna work it out.
We came and incarnated into these human bodies, and now we're leaving these human bodies behind.
Last month, a sheep was cloned in Scotland.
There are now 2 sheep in the world that look exactly the same.
Are you a clone?
No. Last week, 39 members of the Heaven's Gate cult killed themselves in cold blood.
Have you or anyone you know ever been involved in an apocalyptic suicidal cult?
No,
No.
not that I know of.
The cult's leader was a man named Marshall Applewhite, otherwise known as Doe.
Or Bo.
My father is not a human father.
Doe led his cult members to death in a $1.6 million mansion in San Diego.
All 39 members were wearing black Nikes at the time of their deaths.
Have you ever owned a pair of Nikes black?
Yes.
All suicide members were carrying identification, a $5 bill, and a few quarters.
I'm going to name a few objects. Tell me if you're carrying any of these items at the moment. Identification.
Yes.
A $5 bill.
Yes.
Quarters.
Yes.
The cult survived by making websites for large companies to put on the internet.
Have you ever used the internet?
Yeah.
How about you? Have you ever used the internet?
I'm tourist.
Last month, a cloned sheep. Last week, 39 members of an apocalyptic cult killed themselves in a mass suicide. Coincidence? I don't think so.
Just try and tell me it's coincidence that these cult leaders once called themselves Bo and Peep.
And just try and tell me that Bo and Peep is in no way related to a cloned sheep.
Little Bo Peep has lost her sheep and can't tell where to find them. Leave them alone and they'll come home, wagging their tails behind them.
It's unmistakable.
The end of the world is coming.
It's payback time!
This is it, zippity-doo-dah. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. My, oh my, what a wonderful day. Plenty of sunshine heading my way. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. Mr. Bluebird's on my shoulder. It's truth, it's actual, everything is satisfactual. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. A wonderful feeling, a wonderful day.
Hello, New York, and welcome to Payback Time Live, New York's only show covering the apocalypse and other assorted conspiracies for your amusement, entertainment, or however you interpret it.
Hello. Nice to see everyone back at Payback Time. First off, let me start by explaining something. Some of you people may recall the recent cloning of a sheep in Scotland. Now, anyone with a mind should realize that if they just now cloned a sheep successfully in Scotland, then that means that our government has probably been developing the same technology secretly for years. Do we have to spell it out for you? Didn't you see the videotapes made by the Heaven's Gate cult? Well, we at Payback Time view this as a vital link in an altogether new chain of extraterrestrial DNA. These people were synthetically and genetically engineered for the purposes of generating hysteria on a global scale. To what ends, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. It's called a worldwide police state. Right now, you people must be telling yourselves, this is just another isolated incident, and that the suicides of 39 crazy people probably doesn't add up to too much in this topsy-turvy modern-day world. Well, let me ask you this. How many more crazy people have to kill themselves before we realize that there is alien intervention here?
There's no aliens involved, they weren't clones, and they're not from Scotland. It's just coincidence, plain coincidence.
Do you think it is coincidence that last month a sheep was cloned in Scotland and last week 39 members of the Heaven's Gate cult decided to kill themselves?
I heard about the 39 murders or suicide, but I didn't know about no sheep.
This is the simplest way I can explain it to you. We have Cro-Magnon men, monkeys, what we evolved from. Aliens came to Earth, scientifically mated with monkeys. And that's where we come to humankind, the form, what we exist as today. Now, you take away DNA and you add a test tube, and that equals clones. Brothers and sisters, the beginning and the end. It begins with monkeys, it ends with clones. The beginning and the end.
Have you ever used the internet?
Yeah.
Yeah, seldom though.
How do you feel about the internet?
Well, it was fun when it was really anarchic about 5 years ago, and now it's kind of annoying, but I still love it.
How about you?
I like it because I can communicate with people in Germany and like all over the world, which is one really fascinating thing to me about the internet.
I'm tourist.
I'd rather do relations outside of computers, outside relations.
I didn't know about no sheep. First time I ever heard of it.
They clone sheep.
And we shall find out what this hip, little trendy, sip away, talk about the internet, computers, different kind of PCs, Compaq, Mac, IBM, and Microsoft, what their role in all this is. Because of free internet hookups, a hookup where you don't have to pay means complete freedom, but not for the viewer, for the manipulator of the internet, to feed the viewer who thinks he's getting information for free into a manipulative process of destruction, evil, and control. Something that must be broken. These people in this position with these cables cannot have this freedom. They cannot have this freedom by any means.
I don't understand what all the problem is lately. I mean, with the internet and everything. I mean, the internet is just a wonderful, vast place to, like, gather and trade information with others. I mean, it's wonderfully, like, it's just the most beautiful thing, you know? I can't imagine why anyone would have anything negative to say about the internet. I mean, there's just, like, you know, we're all one and one with each other, and we're all one big happy world, you know what I'm saying? And we could all just be together through the internet, and I'm just, you know, it's just one of those things.
We know the triangle is not yet filled, and they, by God, are not gonna fill it. We're gonna find that missing link and not let any confusion, delusional paranoia, spaceship information, or goddamn CIA, Russian, Soviet, Budapest plots block us from the simple truths we seek.
I don't know anything about anything anymore. But I mean, these people, like, they're from the kingdom of heaven. They're very highly intelligent people. I mean, they did lots of recruiting through the internet, And what you do is you would maybe like send in like a hair sample or something, and they would say like, if you're truly would like to become a member, you know, we shave our hair off. We shave off our hair and send us a piece to show us. So what they do is like they do like a follicle test to see how close to the scalp the hair actually came from. That's what they claim that the test is for. And what they do is once they actually get the hair there, then what they do is they begin a recruiting process, all the while with a speeded up, like a highly metabolized, like, you know, the metabolic rate is like speeded up. They're growing clones.
No joke. I'm here because they are cloning people at this moment as we speak, and there's no way of knowing who are the clones and who are the originals, and we've got to find out. So we're just asking around to find out, are you a clone? Are you one of the clones? Are you one of the clones?
My parents wish I was a clone.
I'm almost positive that I'm not.
But
no.
How do you know?
I don't know.
Right, you know, because if you'd think you were the original if you are a clone.
Okay.
We start off in the early 1900s. We see that there was only about one clone per every 100 people. Now, as we proceed through time, we see that this trend steadily increases. 1920s, about 5 clones per every 100. 1930s, 10 per every 100.
Realizes clones everywhere.
Frank, you don't have to worry about clones until you're walking to work one day, you look across the street and you see yourself walking the other direction. That's the point when you...
Jordan, what's got in there? Are you crazy? Don't you realize there's clones everywhere? There's probably somebody who looks exactly like you walking around somewhere in Grosse Pointe, Michigan right now.
Frank, what the hell is in Grosse Pointe, Michigan?
Clones!
Okay, I'll give you there's clones in Grosse Pointe, Michigan, but how do you figure someone got my DNA?
Well, have you been circumcised?
Of course I've been circumcised. You know anyone as Jewish as me?
Well, where do you think that piece of skin is right now? Yes, that's right. Your foreskin's probably sitting in a jar of formaldehyde 16 stories under the Pentagon, and you're not worried about clones? God damn it!
The 1940s, 15 per every 100. And we see this trend continue on and on, until the 1990s. Look where we're at. 80 clones per every 100 people. The year 2000, it's going to be 100 clones for every 100 people. The human race won't even exist anymore. Do you see this? It's no joke, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to break down super logical science here.
See, the major problem is they're cloning everyone these days. The Congress, the Senate, the CIA, the FBI. 3 out of every 10 people who work in a corporate environment are a clone. 6 of them are company robots, and the remaining 1 sometimes is a real person with an actual solid history. Every person in this city alone has a clone of themselves in another country. In fact, speaking of that, I got a letter from my clone the other day. He's a crocodile paraphernalia salesman in Australia. But basically what it said in the letter is he recently had sex with a clone of a kangaroo that he created.
You know, that's interesting, Frank, because it sounds to me like you have a lot in common with your clone.
No, I'm nothing like my clone, you ass. You think I'd have sex with a kangaroo clone?
How about a kangaroo?
Well, I might try it once, you know, just so I could say I did it, you know, but the kangaroo would have to be on some heavy sedatives, definitely.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. My tie, right? It supports cow cloning. You got beef?
So you are not a clone yourself?
No, no way.
You are 100% original?
Right, original.
Are you a clone?
No, what is a clone?
A clone? A clone is when they take your DNA strand, they reproduce it in order to make another being exactly the same as you. Are you sure? Because you would have the same memory as your original self, therefore you would think that you were the original, not the clone.
That's kind of heavy for me. I don't even follow what you're talking about.
All right, thank you very much. Trying to tell me he's not an Elvis impersonator. He is Elvis. All the others are clones.
Do you like sheep?
Well, I like the meat. I mean, like chicken. I'm partial to chicken. And
you think it's okay if they clone chicken?
I'm a fisher. I like a fish.
You like fish? Do you like cereal?
Yes.
What's your favorite cereal?
Well, oatmeal and with Tina.
Are you aware that there's a major organization underground in this country right now that are cloning people, and they work for the government, they're slowly taking over us?
I heard about it, but I want to make sure. I'll have to hear about it.
No.
Oh, you're not a clone. How can you be sure?
Go away.
Yeah, you're laughing it off now. You won't be laughing when there's 40 of you running around.
I like sheep, and I don't think they should be cloned either.
No. Well, I'm a fish eater. I like shrimp and I like lobster and things like that, fillet and sole. But occasionally I will eat chicken. I mean, you know.
Chicken nuggets?
Yeah.
How about chicken McNuggets?
What do you think is the solution to this problem of people being cloned?
I think what should be done is we should take the finest scientists in the world who are working on the cloning problem, and we should clone them so that they can come up with a solution. Because the more people we have working on the problem, the sooner the solution will come about.
I like chicken legs, something like that, you know, or soup. I'm partial to soup. I'm a soup eater or whatever it is.
Okay. So you want to clone the cloners?
Isn't that the only way?
Now, look at this. It's all interconnected. I don't know how else to show it to you people. It's not isolated incidents. It's not everything separate. This. It's all connected. Illuminati. And you have Mafia.
We've heard from very reliable sources that the whole cloning epidemic begins in barbershops. So we're going to make our way to a barbershop where we believe they're going to cut my colleague Frankie's hair. They're going to cut off his hair. They're going to keep the hair follicles. They're going to extract the DNA from the hair follicles, and they're going to genetically sample it to try and keep a clone. The way we're going to check this is we're going to try and keep the hair ourselves. Obviously, if they won't let us keep the hair, they want the hair for some unethical purpose.
Yeah. What do you guys do with the hair that once it hits the ground? What do you do with the hair?
Well, I know about this guy that been selling the hair to China. They use it in China for the cushion of the car.
Is there any way that I could get my hair put in this plastic bag to take home with me afterwards?
Yes, you can do that. Yeah, many people do that.
Sheep. Okay? CIA.
Is any members of the CIA ever buy hair from you guys?
Not really, not that I remember, not such a thing like that. Like the CIA International had to do anything with sales. But this guy that was selling the hair to China, he got contracts selling the hair. Maybe he is selling some ships that come to the harbor or New York or whatever.
What did you say, sheeps?
Yeah, ships.
Clones, okay? Okay? How about aliens, okay? You think they're involved with any of this? Aliens, alien intervention? You think they might be involved with some of this? Madness, okay? Madness, okay?
I really didn't assume they were going to be suicidal at the time. I mean, they used apocalyptic rhetoric and millennial vision and things like that, but they never really talked about, except in a couple areas where there were vague references, and this goes even back to the earlier meetings in 1975.
Planet Earth about to be recycled. Your only chance to evacuate is to leave with us.
So this guy, Appleboy, was totally off his rocker. He was fired from 2 jobs as music professors at top American universities. Hey, Marsha, can you call up the Heaven's Gate file? Thanks, babe. Apparently, he went into psychiatric care for his homosexuality, and the nurse was Bonnie Lunettos, a.k.a. T, a.k.a. Peep, who later became the co-leader of the cult. They were just crazy, insane, loopy people. It's that simple.
I got Inside the Web of Death, special report, Time Magazine, and special report, UFOs, Comets, and Cults. Follow me, Inside the Heaven's Gate Mass Suicide.
You know, you got their haircut going on.
I know, I do. I know, and I'm very into the comet. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go out top of the building tonight and I'm going to go take a look.
Oh yeah, and they all cut their balls off too. You gotta remember that.
No matter what happens, that decision is entirely up to me.
These guys are just crazy. If you look at the facts, it's plain and simple. I mean, a cult led by people named Bo and Peep, aka Doe and T, aka Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Lou Nettles. It's just crazy. I mean, this guy even convinced 18 of his fellow members to castrate themselves.
That would be the first thing. They would be like, okay, you know, this alien ship is coming. I'd be like, nah, you know, and like the comet's leading it. Yeah, I could get with that, you know, and you could live in this big fat crib and, you know, and be a computer program. I'd be like, yeah, and they'd be like, and we cut your balls off. I'd be like, what? Cut what? Sorry guys, Elvis has left the building, all right? You ain't getting the nads, Nicky.
So yeah, he gets them to cut their balls off. I mean, all 18 of these guys are, yeah, cut their ball. Why not? I'll cut my balls off.
So, and I noticed these guys, they were all castrated, right?
So some of them, they didn't need their testicles because they were completely celibate, they didn't have sex, there were no males and there were no females.
Sort of like worms.
Sort of like worms, completely androgynous.
And they all wore the same clothes and had the same hair.
Yeah, they didn't want any individuality.
So these people wanted to be clones, pretty much.
They were clones.
So all the Jim Carrey
First of all, let's talk about these ill capers and fly frontin' that now caught vapors. Run up on you with guns, snatch your papers. Outline body chart is how they was.
Why do you think that Nike decided to sponsor the Heaven's Gate cult?
It depends on which Heaven Gate cults they sponsor. There's 2 Heaven Gates cults.
To establish a franchise in outer space, the cheapest labor you can get.
Because they are the end of the world satanic rulers of all time.
Hey, follow me to Mars. Follow me to Mars. You guys have any shoes like Nikes, black Nikes, white sole, like the white Nike sign, like this in white? No. You don't have anything like black, like running shoes? No. You have anything with some sort of air cushion technology that'll help me jump into the next dimension or anything?
How about those new Dr. J sneakers? I really want to take my soul to the hole. Is that possible? You got any of those around here? So what? I got a crazy dead guy on my shirt. What's the big deal? You got a problem? Let's live.
It seems that we arrived in Earth's between Earth's 1940s and early 1990s.
Yo, check it out. 1 minute. Yo, let me drop some science. Let me drop some knowledge. Yo, check it out. Doe, nuts. You know what I'm saying? Like Doe, and none of his boys had no nuts, and like Doe nuts.
Honey, come here. And the waitress comes over. My grandfather's like, Hon, you know what I need here? I need 2 of them scrumdiddlyumptious jelly donuts and some decalcified coffee. The waitress just gives him a look like he's crazy, like my grandfather's crazy. Like, what the hell? What is my grandfather running around shaving his head, killing himself, going to sleep with Nikes and a purple strap?
No.
Nothing wrong with the guy. Totally sane. He just wants some donuts and coffee. And she looks at him and he goes, what's wrong? Didn't you hear me? All I want is some scrumdiddlyumptious donuts and some decalcified coffee.
Right. We have come to bring the revolution of evolution. We must, again, take control of our fates and of the stars that guide them. We are in the midst of a cosmic conspiracy so epic in size that the very nature of everything that we now know to be true, honest, and virtuous is at stake.
The bottom line is, computers are great. The government's our friend. Aliens don't exist. And paranoia is just plain absurd. course, there is the small chance that the meteor will strike the Earth on New Year's 1999 at 11:57 p.m., engulfing all major cities in flames and killing everybody. Massive holocaust. I wouldn't worry about that, though. Marsha, can you move all my stock in the Reebok portfolio over to Nike? Just do it!
Oh, it must be Frankie dog. Yo, there was this one time we was in this fucking diner and this old lady came up, waitress. She was walking real slow and dog's like, yo, man, look how old she is. She's fucking Jurassic waitress.
Waco, Texas. Members of a cult killed themselves some time ago. Present day, 1997, 39 members of the Heaven's Gate cult in San Diego, California, killed themselves. And if we look at the archetype of the triangle, we see that it's an important symbol because it represents the negative and the positive polarities, both coming together at the pinnacle and integrating. And if we look at the pinnacle of this triangle, we see it all comes together at Clouds Peak, Wyoming. That's where the next event will happen in the year 2000. You see the triangle? Do you see the symbol? Do you think symbols have no meanings? Do you think numbers have no meanings inside of them? Days, years, dates, numbers, symbols, all hold secrets.
So, like, what do you think the trick to brainwashing people is?
Well, I think if you're going to try and brainwash someone, what you want to do, Frank,
right,
is you want to try and speak very quietly, be really convincing, and speak in a nice, smooth, clear voice.
Well, that's funny that you should say that, because I hear that you can go right into the kingdom of heaven if you just run down the street naked right now.
The other thing is, I think it really helps to brainwash people. I've just noticed people like Charles Manson and Doe, you know, they speak, while they're speaking clearly, being really convincing, they never blink, and they constantly nod their head up and down about everything they say.
Well, you know, you can go into the kingdom of heaven if you just run down the street naked right now.
The other thing about brainwashing is I think it really helps if the brainwasher were to slip the brainwashee a little bit of LSD.
If the brainwasher slips the brainwashee a little bit of LSD. I can hear the angels singing outside on the street, Jordan. They're calling you. God damn it. Hot doggity diggity.
Hi, my name's David. You know, we like to kid around a lot here on Payback Time, get into some comedy, share a few laughs, maybe even learn a lesson or two. The important thing to remember is that the Hale-Bopp Comet's going to bring a lot more tragedy and sadness to planet Earth in the future. 10 or 12 years from now, people are going to be crying and ripping their hair out, blood streaming from their eyes as they walk through the streets looking for who they used to be. You've got to remember to stay on track. Keep track of who you are. Remember where you're going. And above all, don't join a cult for a kick or a whim. Make sure you know what you're getting into. Let's face it, who wants to end up castrated, hitching a ride on a UFO somewhere, going God knows where? It's not for me, kids.
When I arrived back into this era, I had to shave my head because I could feel the constant static of their collective consciousness monitoring my mind through space and time. I've tried to cleanse myself of these virulent alien technologies. I'm just trying to get sanitized.
It's okay, my brethren. So basically, that was cool. That was cut from the reading. That was cut?
Yeah, because I guess they wanted to...
Anytime you're ready.